sa puso't isip laging kukup-kupin mga gunitang sa atin nakarating. Bayan pukawin sa diwa't damdamin, pangarap ng kahapon ating tuparin. Mabubuting bagay sisikaping saliksikin, mga aral ng kahapon susulatin. Malayong kahapon sisikapin panglibutin, nalalaman atin pang payayabungin. Salam sa kaibig-ibig mong layunin, padayon sa iyong pagiging tinig ng kahapong nagnanais na marinig, ng ngayon at ng bukas na darating. Luwid ka mananalaysay sa iyong papel, turuan mga kababayan na daigin, agam-agam sa sarili, tangal papag-alabin, gabayan, bayan ng kabutihan, landasin. Mula si tangkay hanggang mavulis, hilig sa nakaraan payabungin. At kung marating anumang lupain, may pagtatanggol sarili ng may lalim. Salam sa kaibig-ibig mong layunin, padayon sa iyong pagiging tinig ng kahapong nagnanais na marinig, ng ngayon at ng bukas na darating. Luwid kang mananalaysay sa iyong papel, turuan mga kababayan na daigin, agam-agam sa sarili, tangal papag-alabin, gabayan, bayan ng kabutihan, landasin. Mabuhay ka, kapisanang kasaysayan ng Pilipinas.
Mabuhay, kapisanan, kasaysayan, Pilipinas. Ang tinutukoy po nating kapisanan, hindi lang po yung Philippine Historical Association, kundi ang buong kapisanan ng mga guro, nangangaling panlipunan, mga profesor ng kasaysayan. Ako po si Xiao Chua para sa Vibal Group. Welcome to Kasaysayan, Kaysaya. So, nung nakaraang linggo, pinag-usapan natin ng People Power Revolution sa mata ng isang nakababatang historiador o scholar ng kasaysayan, si Ginoong Alvin Campomanes. Ngayon naman, titignan natin ang kasaysayan ng Kapangyarihang Bayan sa EDSA, People Power, EDSA Revolution, sa pamamagitan ng isang participant, no, nakibahagi sa kasaysayang ito. No, mamaya po yan. Pakikilala natin ang ating special guest, pero bago ang lahat, nais ko pong pasalamatan ang ating boss, Gaspar Vibal, si Ma'am Christine Mandigma, Rio Brihino Lim, si Tupe Vargas, at syempre makasama natin sa marketing si Sandra Kaya G. Omar. Ayan, maraming salamat po, no, sa ating nag-aalaga po sa atin. So, nako, di ko na po patatagalin, no? Tatawagin ko na po at ipapakilala dahil marami po tayong pag-uusapan ngayon. At tatawagin ko na po yung ating yung ating guest co-host, no? Actually, ikatlong pagkakataon na po niya, no? Third time na maging co-host ko. No? At I think, hindi ko alam kung siya yata ang pinakamarami na naging co-host. No? Kaya tinatawagan ko, isang grade 12 student mula sa OB Montessori Center, wala hong iba kundi si Binibining Alida Jian M. Moberg. Hello, Ali.
Hi, Professor Chua. Magandang gabi po.
Yeah, in fairness.
Yes.
Grabe, talaga fired up ka na agad, ha? Oh, anyway,
Yes.
Dalawang tanong ko sa iyo actually, no. I'm
Opo.
surprised you with the second question. But my first question to
Oh,
you
my.
is, ano ang talento mo? And what do you think are your talents? At paano mo ito ginagamit, Ali?
Well, Professor Chua, this question, it reminds me po of the parable of talents. You know, we have to take whatever talents we have and make them grow. Otherwise, mawawala ang mga ito sa atin. And at this point in my relatively young life, I think that I'm still in the process of developing my talents. Pero ever since I was a child, I've always had an affinity for music and writing. And ito talaga yung mga bagay na gusto kong gawin. At ngayon na mas lumalaki na ako, naghahanap ako ng mga paraan kung paano ko mapapalago ang mga interest ko na ito. Sa music, I've dabbled into singing and playing the piano. And I am also able to hone my writing skills at school, and that has extended to me trying to find opportunities to build my communication skills. Ngayon, marami nga akong ginagawa, but I'm not doing all of these things for myself. You know, that would be lonely and somehow fruitless because I think that it's always nice to share our talents with others so that we can learn and grow together.
So, dahil dyan, nasabi mo, ikaw ay may affinity sa pag-aarte. Hindi ko sinasabing maarte si Ali, ano? hindi ko siya maarte, ano? In fact, I like Ali because si Ali po ay pinapakinggan po niya ang ating mga ordinaryong mamamayan. No? Pinupuntahan mo nga sila sa Kapas, di ba? Yung ating mga katutubo doon na Aita, di ba?
Yes,
Yung mga na-display actually ng isang malaking proyekto doon, ano, na nakakalungkot. Pero sana pagtuunan sila ng pamahalaan. At si Ali was there to listen to their stories, no? And to help them a little, no? At yan, sariling initiative niya yun. No? Hindi siya pumunta doon with the group, no? Tulad ng iniisip ng iba. So, I really thank you for doing that, Ali, no? So, pero, that said, hindi ko siya maarte, no? Siya po yung maarte. Okay? So,
Yes.
ano yung teleserye na ikaw ay naroon?
Ay, opo, naku, matagal na po yun. Almost a decade ako. Shucks, Annalisa po. Yung 2013 run ng Annalisa ng ABS-CBN po.
Hindi yung Annalisa nung 80s, no?
Ay,
Noong
wala
panahon
pa po
pa
ako
yun,
noon.
wala
Ako,
pa siya noon,
hindi ko alam kung nasan pa ako noon.
So, ayan, maraming salamat. Yung second question ay tatanong ko sa iyo kapag naipakilala ko na yung ating guest. Ang ating main speaker, mga kaibigan, nagturo po siya sa Ateneo de Manila University at ngayon ay mag-broadcast sa atin mula sa Australia. Wala pong iba kundi bahagi ng APO Hiking Society, musician, songwriter, wala akong iba kundi si Sir Jim Paredes.
Hello. Good evening sa inyong lahat.
Siyempre, thank you Sir Jim for coming. May mga rains daw, torrential rains saan kayo sa Australia? Canberra?
No, sa Sydney.
Sa Sydney. Oo. And
Baha nga dito ngayon, sobrang baha.
Oh my. Oo.
Yeah.
Ingat
I'm
po
not
kayo.
affected, no? Kasi I'm in a different suburb, pero may mga kotseng nakalubog sa kalye. Tapos yung dam, mag-overflow tonight yung dam. So 800 homes ang ma-affect ngayon. So it's been raining for 3 weeks and another 6 weeks pa daw.
Grabe, 2 weeks ago, we say, let's pray for Ukraine. Hanggang ngayon, may conflict po doon.
Oo.
is ngayon po, let's pray for Australia. Hindi masyadong nababalita, Sir Jim, pero marami po tayong kababayan dyan. Kaya ipagdasal po natin sila. Ito po, no, bago ko tanungin si Sir Jim ng ating unang question, tatanungin ko muna si Ali. Obviously, hindi naman yung heyday ng APO Hiking Society, hindi naman niya naabutan. Pero alam niyo, buhay na si Ali nung lumabas yung Kami na po muna, which is a tribute album. Diba? Pero, Ali, kilala naman natin ang APO Hiking Society. Ano ang iyong favorite APO song? Ayan.
Nako, it's going to be so hard to choose kasi throughout my life, parang yan yung laging sound trip ng nanay ko. She's a fan. Pati yung mga tito ko, the Dalanon family, they're all fans. So, tuwing road trip, lagi yung bahagi ng playlist. Pero ako, siguro, sige, Analangin. I know it's a classic, but it makes me feel dreamy and in love na parang, ang sarap magmahal and pinagpe-pray ko na sana makilala ko na siya, like my kind of man. And, joke lang. And another one siguro, mas recently ko lang na-discover yung American Junk. Kasi, yes po, kasi parang sa isang subject ko po, we're supposed to analyze mga art forms and I was exploring. So, napakinggan ko siya and it's amazing and somehow unfortunate kasi the lyrics are still relevant today. And hopefully in the future mabago yun, di ba? I mean, it's so nice kasi even the sounds, American Junk, parang factory siya. Ayun, ang sarap lang pakinggan and it's so nice to see na ang creative ng mga minds na gumawa at nag-perform nun, di ba? It's like,
Salamat.
yeah, it's really cool, sir. Thank you.
Oo, di ba? O kaharap mo si Sir Jim. Alam mo, sabihin ko lang muna yung APO experience ko. Actually, ako ay lumaki sa APO songs. Pero kasi usually passive listener ka lang naman eh. Diba? And actually, araw-araw, bahagi ng buhay ko ang APO. Kasi bago ako, either pagdating ko ng eskwela, kung pang-umaga ako, o kung pang-hapon ako, bago ako umalis ng eskwela, araw-araw po yung show na yon, yung sang-linggo na po sila. Dati kasi, every Sunday yon, sa linggo, nAPO, APO sila. No? Tapos eventually, sa Channel 2, lumipat yung Itbulaga eh. Lumipat yung Itbulaga, pinalitan nung sang-linggo na po sila. So, yung mga eventually, yung mga noontime show, kumbaga yan yung pinagmulan, genesis ng mga noontime show ng ABS-CBN na hindi Itbulaga. Diba? From sang-linggo na po sila, papasok rin. Sina Ami Perez, papasok dyan, and eventually sila hanggang showtime ngayon. Diba? Marami yan. No? But, so, sila yon, araw-araw namin kapiling. Pero, ang naalala ko, my grandmother from Canada was the one who sent me an APO tape.
Really?
Oo. Yung the best of APO.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos and sorry Sir Jim, bootleg siya, no? Bootleg, no? Pero tape na apparently dala-dala ng lola ko sa Canada nung umalis siya to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
At ibinalik niya sa amin na nung 8 years na siya doon, 1998 yun naalala ko. So doon ko talaga thoughtfully na pinakinggan yung mga APO songs. So, of course, ang mga paborito na dyan, When I Met You. Pero, yung isang version ng Ewan, tuwang-tuwa ako, yung kasama si Sharon Cuneta. Yan, no? And also, yung isang paborito ko rin na it makes me teary-eyed is Love is for Singing. Yan, Love is for Singing. Naku, Ali, you will like Love is for Singing. I'm sure you have to listen to it. Okay, pero ito na, we want to know a little bit about your personal background.
Sure.
I think it was Winston Churchill who began his memoirs by recalling what was his first memory. Kayo, what was your earliest memory?
I've been grappling about that for a long time. I think I was probably about 3 years old, no? Tapos nagtutugtog ako ng phonograph. Phonograph pa noon yung
Yes.
record player, no?
Mm-hmm.
And yung records noon is not what you see now, yung vinyl na, no? This was hard, no? Mm-hmm. And it was 78 speed, hindi 33 and 1/3 ang ikot. Yung 33 and 1/3, ibig sabihin noon, 33 and 1/3 revolutions per minute. Mm-hmm. Yung luma was 78 RPMs per minute. So mabilis ang ikot
Mas
noon.
mabilis,
Oh. And I had all of those. I had complete control of the phonograph. No? Tapos yung records, ang dami yan. Stacked up like that. No? Matigas yun, brittle. Pag ayaw ko yung song, binabasag ko. Ginaganon ko sa ulo ko.
Oh my God.
So siguro, pumapasok yung music nun, baka pag ginaganon ko yun. No? But anyway, that's my earliest memory. No? And there were songs there that I just played and played and played. Yung saying, I understand just how you feel. You know, one of those corny 50s songs na. No?
Yeah. I understand.
Wow. Mga ganun. Oh.
Mm.
So that would probably be my earliest memory. Our house in Santa Mesa. 10 kami magkakapatid. I was the 9th. No?
Santa Mesa. Oh, dito lang yan kasi nasa San Domingo ako eh.
Okay.
Malapit lang. Oh,
Yeah.
maganda yan kasi when you look at the earliest memory, apparently yan ay defining sa yung pagkatao. So yung music, obviously.
Music talaga.
Diba?
Oh.
My earliest memory was of my first birthday party. And then ang naaalala ko, I can remember the blue cake. And the funny thing is, tinago nila ako after nung parang nag-blow ng cake. What I was feeling was nilagay ako sa room and then what I felt is ilabas niyo ako, I want to see the people, no? So, di ba parang if you're going to look at it, no? Ang ganda nung parang baka people person talaga or something, no? But anyway, Ali, no? You have a question? By the way, si Ali pala, doon sa Annalisa, you were with Buboy Garubilio, di ba?
Yes po, we worked together, si Tito Buboy. It was very nice. Masaya siyang kasama always, happy. Good vibes lang talaga, as in. It was nice.
Di ba? O yung mga hindi nakakilala, APO Hiking Society.
Saka si Buboy sanay sa mga sa mga nag-iintay sa taping ng katagal-tagal, gano'n. Hindi siya naiinip doon. Ako, inip na inip ako sa mga gano'n.
Yeah.
Parang ako na.
Oo, mabait talaga si Tito Buboy. Pero ayun na nga po. So it's nice to hear yung mga stories niyo from your childhood na nagulat ako when you said you did that. Na-imagine ko lang, wow, you must have a really strong skull. But anyway, yung tulad po na nabanggit ni Professor Chua, yung childhood kasi natin, it's a very important phase in our development. No? And I think, well, since you're one-third of APO Hiking Society, so naging napakaganda po ng development ninyo. So now, perhaps you could share with us a bit po about your parents, kung paano ka po nila pinalaki.
Yeah.
My father was a teacher, a law teacher. No? He actually, what do you call this? He actually, ganito yun, he took the bar. Tapos na-inform kami na-inform yung father niya ng Department of Justice that he topped the bar. Okay? Pero nung lumabas sa dyaryo, ang lumabas na number 1 was Tihanki, number 2 yung dad ko. By 0.02 or something like that.
Wow.
And si Tihanki would always say that my dad was really the one who topped the bar because Tihanki was a professional student and my father already had kids and he was working. So, ganun. That was my father. And he died very early. I was like 5 years old. He died with Ramon Magsaysay. It's a plane crash.
Yes.
So, and then my mother, it was a very strong woman. No, she raised 10 of us after my father died. No,
Wow.
and yeah, she's mestiza. She grew up in Zamboanga. She was, I think, part of the tennis Olympic team or swimming yata during her time. No, and her father was a colonel in the military, I think, and her father was the first superintendent of prisons in the Philippines. In other words, siya nag-found yata ng Muntinlupa. But he was very loved by the prisoners because he was very fair. Saka hindi pa congested noon wala pa mga drug addict, wala pa mga ganun, no. So, I remember growing up, yung mga katulong namin, mga preso
So, nag-ano kayo doon? Sa...
where he lived, lahat ng katulong niya, mga preso, no? Yung chaperone ng anak niya was a rapist. He was reformed. And he always, one insight he told us, sabi niya, alam mo, when you meet a murderer or a rapist, sabi niya ganun, it's mostly crime of passion and very often they repent.
Right.
Sabi niya, pero yung mga magnanakaw, hindi talaga nagre-reform. That's what he told me. So,
Nako, parang
when I
may
look at-
implication yan, ano?
I know. Sabi ko, that's a study in character, no? He said that eh. He would always say that.
Yeah,
Kaya
wow.
nga yung chaperon nga ng daughter niya, rapist eh. Dati.
Wow.
Tumanda na, he's very nice guy. His name was Patok yata. Patok.
Pero ang nakikita ko dito, sir, yung compassion, ano, was taught to you very early.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Diba? Our family, we were 10, ano?
Mm-hmm.
Pero takbuhan kami ng mga family at saka mga friends na yung nasalanta, gano'n.
Right.
Pupunta sa amin, lagi may pagkain sa bahay, gano'n. At saka yung mom ko, with her last money, she will lend it.
Oh, wow.
So, we grew up middle class actually, no? We were very middle class. At scholar ako sa Ateneo eh. Kasi nung namatay yung tatay ko, we couldn't afford school.
Right.
So, my father was also the founder of CEAP, no? Catholic Education Association of the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So, nung namatay siya, lahat ng Catholic schools sa buong Pilipinas offered us scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
So, I went to Ateneo. From prep to college. I was a scholar.
And I would like to mention, no? So nakita nyo naman, his father was part of the plane na nag-crash noon sa Mount Manunggal. He was a public servant, a lawyer and a public servant.
He was the script writer of Magsaysay. So they went to Cebu because Magsaysay had 4 graduations to attend.
Right.
And my dad wasn't supposed to go, pero sabi ni Magsaysay, sumama ka na. I want to run the speeches, baka mali pa yung pronunciation ko eh, sabi niya.
Oh my.
So sumama yung father ko. Little did we know that he wouldn't come home anymore.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
5 years old lang kayo nun, ano? You have a last memory of your dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
I sit on his lap, I'm on he's on his desk, and then he'll open the drawer because there's a surprise there.
Wow.
Sometimes it's just a little bag of peanuts like that na, pero surprise. Siyempre, yun lang, masaya ka na, di ba? Wow, may surprise! Ang ganun. And pag like in their bed, no? In my mother and father's bed, 10 of us would be there Sunday morning. Nakahiga sa bed, family bonding, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And yung mother ni Sir Jim, I would like to also mention, no, si Ma'am Esther Paredes Jimenez.
Right. She married again eh.
Yes. Esther Dolores Misa Paredes Jimenez. Isa po siyang freedom fighter during the Marcos dictatorship.
Yeah.
So, well, we have to mention
story
that.
in itself.
Of course. We can talk about it some other time.
Nasa Bantayog yan. Nasa Bantayog.
Yes.
Pangalan niya.
So, she was born in 1916 and died September 4, 1997.
That's right.
Oh, wow. Eh, parang yung love of country was there. Ano?
Oh, yeah. Lalo na sa nanay ko.
Right.
Saka the way we were growing up parang it was the whole Ateneo ethic din yung man for others na
Right.
I felt privileged na, I could have landed in public school kasi wala kaming pera, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
But I felt privileged na nabigyan ako ng edukasyon na ganun. And I was a conscientious kid. Sabihin mo na ganun. When I saw people hurt,
Right.
parang lumalambot yung puso ko, ganun. Or naiiyak ako, ganun.
Right.
Why is it so unfair, ganun, di ba? Pati yung mga nagbe-beg sa streets, maalala ko, tinitignan ko talaga. Nakachinelas lang, nakapaa, yung ganun. Parang I felt na, and my mom would always, would always give, ganun.
Wow.
So, it was, may kami, we developed soul because of that.
Right.
I think it's like, parang natuto ka ng hindi lang masyadong self-centered na, you cared for others, yung ganun. It was my mom who showed that.
Kaya malaki ang papel ng ina. No?
Sobra.
Diba? By the way, Happy International Women's Day.
Correct.
sa ating lahat. No? Hindi lang sa mga kababaihan, pero sa mga kalalakihang pinalaki ng mga magagaling na babae at matitibay na babae, no? So, my mother, Vilma Briones Chua, hello, and to my future wife and the mother of my future children, Noela May Orozco, hello. Yes. And syempre,
I have 4 sisters also.
4 sisters? Oh, wow. Ilan
6
kayo
boys kami and
magkakapatid?
4 girls eh. Oh.
6 boys and 4 girls?
Yeah. Oh.
Wow, that's a big family. Ay, nako. Anyway, my next question is, ito na, you're whacking your head with, that old, turntables. I mean, yung mga old
Records.
albums before, records at that time. When did you realize that you have a knack for music?
Oh my gosh. We were, alam mo, maliit pa lang kami, kumakanta na kami, the whole family.
Parang trap family singers.
So we would really sing. Tapos kung minsan, pag may guests kami sa bahay, sabihin ni ma'am, kumanta kayo. And she would be so proud watching us sing, Kasi nag-harmony kami. Parang natural harmony. And, when technology changed the old record player into hi-fi set, as they call it, nagkaroon na nung 33 1/3, I would memorize complete albums like West Side Story. Memorize ko pati orchestration, no? My sister would send records from the States kasi nag-migrate siya maaga sa States. Ako, memorize ko lahat yun. Lahat yun. Broadway musicals, I would memorize them. Lyrics, orchestration, lahat yung, kasi kumakanta ka tapos biglang after you say the word, meron parang, pati yung kinakanta ko yung mga parts nito. I was just naturally inclined to music. And my family was very musical. No? But a turning point in my life was when I was 11. Binigyan ako ng gitara nung sister ko as a birthday gift. That 11, I was like young. I had so many pimples. I was insecure. I was like, detached, mahiyain and everything. And when I played the guitar, I felt that it was a parallel reality. Parang sabi ko, it's a parallel language. When I feel sad, I can hear a major 7 chord and it's like or a minor chord. When I hear a nice E played, cha-chang, yung malakas na rock and roll na gano'n. I felt exuberant. Parang I felt I didn't need words to describe what I felt.
Right.
It was music that was my key. And I would be in class, but I would be like, ano nga bang chords nung Hard Day's Night? Teka, parang iniisip ko na, hindi na Hard Day's Night. I was always thinking, pag nasa bus ako, wala naman kaming radyo sa kotse.
Yeah.
Pag nasa kotse ka, kasama kong mama ko, lahat kami, magro-rosaryo yung mama ko habang nagda-drive. Kakanta na lang kami para hindi kami mag-rosaryo. Yun ang ginagawa namin. Very musical. It was a very musical childhood that I had.
Wow. Ali?
Yes po. So, ayun, that's such a nice thing to hear, no? Yung ever since bata ka pa, yung passion mo, you grew up with it, it has stayed with you, and it has evolved with you through the years. That's very nice. So, Sir Jim, we all know that APO Hiking Society is synonymous with iconic in the OPM scene. But of course, I'm sure na even kayo, as a group, you guys had your own beginnings. So, when did you realize that you had or you have musical talents? Like, may event po ba sa school or when you wrote your first song?
We were asked to, kasi pag lunchtime, I would get my guitar and play lang sa classroom, no?
Right.
Kasi sandwich lang naman ang lunch ko eh. I'd play in the classroom. Tapos lahat magkakantahan. Lahat mga classmates ko. Ano yung uso, alam ko. Di ba? So, one time our high school had to come up with a group to represent in the song festival. So, we're from Ateneo de Manila High School, AMHS. So, naghanap kami ng pangalan na instead of Ateneo de Manila High School Singers, na napaka-corny ng pangalan, di ba? Naisip namin yung Apolinario Mabini Hiking Society. Kasi si Apolinario Mabini is paralytic, di ba? Paano naging hiking society? So there was a shock value there. There was a 70s irreverence about it, di ba?
Right.
Tapos nung nanalo kami doon, second place. There were 7 judges. 3 judges voted us first. 4 disqualified us. Because bawal daw yung dancing. Eh, hindi naman kami sumasayaw. Ganun na kami. Anyway, sa madaling salita, that's how it started. And then we got to college. Tapos doon, nagkakantahan kami sa quadrangle, sa Ateneo. And I was getting more and more proficient with the guitar. And we would be invited to girls' schools. Kumakanta kami, dami namin na meet na girls. So that was like an incentive, no? Okay to. Let's sing and sing, no? Mamaya may following na kami. Sa mga girls' schools, meron na kami following, no? So that was an incentive for us to get to music.
By the way, I am actually wearing Apolinario Mabini. Because I want to pay tribute to Apolinario Mabini. And a lot of people are mistaken na akala nila kasi hiking So definitely it's about the mountain. Akala nila yung APO is Mount Apo, the highest mountain in the country.
Alam mo, kaya naging shortcut ng APO yun kasi nung martial law, nakatanggap kami ng letter from the Ministry of Information yata yun, di ba? Saying na kailangan daw na irreverent daw yung song namin, yung name namin. So kailangan daw palitan namin. So we dropped it to Apolinario Hiking Society.
Yes.
It was the fans themselves who said, Apo, ganun. So naging Apo.
Buti na lang, hindi yung nAPO. Alam niyo, nAPO di ba?
Alam mo ba?
Din yun
We were choosing between 3 names, no? Apolinario Mabini Hiking Society, Jose Rizal Bulletproof Vest Company, at saka kataas-taasan kagalang-galangang combo.
Pero magtataka ka, pero historical lahat yung references nyo.
Yes. I love history.
Di ba? So, actually, yung Apolinario Hiking Society, where you were together, Buboy Garobillo was already there. Wala pa si Danny.
We met Danny in high school, in college.
Oo. Ateneo High pala yun, nag-start. Tapos, sino yung mga musical influences nyo?
Beatles, America, the association, puro mga foreign lahat
Yeah.
Kaya nga nung una nagsusulat ako, English ako magsulat
Right.
Tapos napanood namin yung Juan de la Cruz, nakasabay namin sa isang school. Tapos sila, rock at saka alam mo na si Pepe Smith, diba? Tagalog na tila umuulan ng malakas, yung kanyang song na parang he's just shouting in the air, diba? Tapos may rock riff na tumutugtog. Tapos nag-wild yung tao. At that moment, sabi ko, Tagalog na ako magsusulat. Parang walang English.
Pero, if you're going to look at 1969, which is, kasi I read some interviews and write-ups. 1969 yata yung nung high school kayo. And remember that the ferment of radicalism in UP.
Yes.
Na actually, lumalakad yan even in Ateneo High and sa kasi sa Piksay noon, Philippine Science High School, nagiging radical na rin yung mga tao. So, parang in a way, part kayo nung ferment na yun at that time, which will eventually, of course, lead to the first quarter storm of 1970. How were those times?
Nung high school, wala pa masyadong Filipinization movement. It was in college when it started for us. But in high school, it was like Woodstock. It was like, parang long hair, di ba?
Right.
Tapos yung parang you wanted your girlfriend to not be so proper na parang nanay mo, di ba? Gusto mo yung medyo hip, di ba? Sa bihis, tapos yung alam mo na, yung parang you can show outward affection, hindi gaya dati. Doon nag-holding hands ka na in public. Okay na yung mga ganoon. But we started like that. But when we got to college, nag-umpisa na yung Filipinization movement. We wanted subjects in Filipino kasi parang mga issue namin sa school noon. Ang Ateneo graduate ay pang New York.
Right.
Inglesero, magaling sa Western culture, walang alam sa Philippine culture. So, ganun ang nangyari doon. So, started to get into Filipinization. Nagkaroon ng philosophy in Tagalog, physics, all of these subjects. And it was very, we were like, we were anti-everything. Anti-government, parang bilib na bilib ka sa mga tao who broke the rules, no? Conventional rules, not necessarily crime, but conventional rules. It's really a time of change. It's really a time of change. You were singing songs about living together. Hindi na yung, even singing that was like, wow, sobra to. And I remember my mother, tumataas yung kilay niya pag nandidinig niya yung mga songs na kinakanta namin. Parang, yung the first time ever I laid with you, di ba, that song. Kinakanta nung kapatid kong babae, sabi ng nanay ko, ano yan?
Well, if you look at the Beatles did at the time, di ba? I wanna hold your hand, di ba? Pero eventually, di ba? I'd like to turn you on, di ba?
We were really the marijuana generation.
Yeah. Oo.
Marijuana was so new then, that even the police did not know what marijuana was.
Wow.
It was amazing. It was really amazing.
Wow.
Until they found out. Di ba?
Marijuana lang yan. Di ba yung cocaine, ano? Iba yun. Di ba? Usapan yun.
Wala pang ganun nun.
Iba usapan yun. Sorry. Ali, easy. Ali.
Yes po. I'm so sorry. Alright, so grabe yung mga time na yun. I'm just so amazed with the stories kasi na-compare ko yung current generation, yung mga kabataan ngayon sa dati. Ibang-iba yung experience, ibang-iba yung definitions kung ano yung fun, kung ano yung mga songs. Kasi ngayon yung mga songs about holding hands medyo typical. But it's nice to see how it evolved, pati yung sa wika. So, for my question naman po, we all know that the legacy that APO Hiking Society has made and continues to create is remarkable. So, Sir Jim, how does it feel po to be credited as one of the pioneers of the genre of original Pinoy music? And was the environment, or what was the environment that produced that movement in music? Because you mentioned earlier about your upbringing with your mother who really had this deep love of country. So did that play a part in the kind of music that you created?
Yes. Alam mo, nung time na yun, tapos papunta ng martial law, no? 1972, I was third year college nung nag-martial law. We were already rebelling before that time, rallies and everything. No? And then we switched to OPM. We started to write in Tagalog. No? And when hindi kami nag-usap nila Ray Valera, the other songwriters. We just happened to have started writing in Tagalog. And for us, that was the biggest rebellion of all. Kasi Englishero kami. Nag-aral kami sa Ateneo. Western culture talaga. Tapos yung Arneo accent, pinagyayabang pa talaga. Na talagang ang galing-galing namin. The right pronunciation and everything. No? So, nung writing in Tagalog was quite a rebellion for me. No? And for many people. We grew up with the Beatles music. Ako, I remember saying, ang galing-galing ng Beatles and I'm such a fan, but I know they never wrote the songs for me. We were just a fringe market, di ba? They wrote it for Brits. That's what they did.
Right.
So we were nag-uusap kami ng APO, sabi namin, what we want to do is we want to write the love songs for Filipinos. In other words, written for Filipinos in Filipino. Para naman may soundtrack yung mga buhay natin, di ba? Na hindi lang foreign at saka mga puti o mga negro kumakanta, di ba?
Galing.
So it was really that. It was really a deliberate, sabi na, let's write, let's do something that hasn't been done, di ba?
Right.
Write the music of our times, instead of going back to, listening to Elvis and saying, oh wow, I remember when I was 16, si Elvis. Walang katuturan yun, di ba?
Right.
Gusto mo gumawa ng love song kasi gusto mo yung liniligawan mo. Ma-feel yung Tagalog love mo, di ba?
Tsaka at that time, people, yan na ba yung, namiminig ba namin yung ulan? Yan na ba yung ulan, sir?
Yeah, oo.
Oo, grabe. Well, hindi naman nakaka-distract, pero malakas talaga siya. So, ingat po sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan, ano? Hindi, parang kasabay din niya talaga din yung, mukhang may influence din yung nangyayari politically doon sa Filipinization ng music din, di ba? Kahit yung halimbawa, yung disco, yung BSTN company, yung kabilang grupo, di ba? Parang Filipinize
Kasi ang nangyari doon, yung martial law, obviously it was very strict. Kung buha ka ng protest song, hindi naman tutupin sa radyo, huliin ka pa.
Correct.
Diba? So the only rebellion was to write the Filipino. No? And the government didn't care whether gumawa ka ng bold film o gumawa ka ng any song, as long as you don't touch politics. If you touch politics, malaking bagay na yun. Tulong ka na. That's why nga, nagkaroon ng bold movies, di ba? Government didn't care. It was a distraction for the people. As long as they're not thinking of political upheaval, that's okay. Whatever. Diba? So,
do you remember your first hit as APO Hiking?
Yeah, it was mahirap magmahal. Show Me a Smile. English pa. Wow.
Tapos, very erotic yun, in fairness.
It was quite medyo. Come to my room and then lie in my bed.
Di ba?
During the time, medyo, whoa! Ganun yun.
But that's very sweet. Di ba? Ang sweet, di ba? Pagka asawa mo, di ba? Oo.
And then we had, sunod-sunod na yan. Nagkaroon kami nung mahirap magmahal ng shota ng iba, labis ko singing. Tapos,
parang nakaka-relate si Ali,
Ay! Nahuli niyo pa ako, Prof. Nako. Kasi, grabe yung song na yun.
When we wrote Pumapatak ang Ulan, oh my gosh, it just became such a big hit. And the song was talking about nothing. Ang topic niya talagang kung ano-ano lang, di ba? Palipat-lipat ng yung parang stream of thought, stream of thought lang.
Right.
Genius talaga si Danny, yung ginawa niya itong kasimple-simpleng kanta na, kung saan-saan pumupunta. Tapos, we're already working in a record company. Kasi yung nangyari sa amin, after college, Buboy went to Dumaguete to do farming. I was supposed to go to Turkey to be parang exchange student.
Right.
Magtatrabaho ko sa Turkey. Di dumating yung plane ticket ko na prinamis ng brother ko. So I was here. Tapos nagkaroon kami ng TV show yung Okay Lang. I don't know if you remember that show, Okay Lang. It became the #1 show. Danny and I were part of it. We called Buboy. At doon na kami naging 3. Yeah.
Now, the question is, ito kasi there was a big thing during martial law. No? And of course, the context is Metropolitan Manila was created because of Imelda. No? She became governor. Pero there's what we call the Metropolitan Songwriting Competition, no? Yung Metropop. And you actually won in 1978 for Ewan. How was that? That's quite big at that time, di ba?
Well, it was I remember Louis Ocampo was very young. He was younger than us. And he had written this song with his girlfriend who was like 14 or 15, no?
Yeah.
Winnie Arrieta, yung pianist na magaling, no? And they wanted us to sing it. So we learned it and we sang it. And I remember, so word of mouth, ang lakas nung Ewan, baka manalo yung Ewan, no? Ang lakas din yung kay Freddie Aguilar, yung Bulag Pipi Bingi, no?
Ay, wow, classic.
Tapos may lumabas pa na na hula, ang mananalo daw nakasombrero. Si Freddie nakasombrero, di ba? Pero yung costume namin, may sombrero din kami. Pero kami yung parang yung ganung klase, parang beret, no?
Beret.
Yeah. So sino mananalo? Nakasombrero kami lahat, di ba? Nanalo kami in second, si Freddie won first. But it was the Ewan that took off big.
Wow.
That really launched us in a big way.
Pero parang when did you sige Ali, tanong mo nga yan.
Yes. So we've actually dabbled on this earlier. Yung tungkol sa political environment.
Yes.
So kasi tulad po ng na-share ko kanina yung American Junk, it's very eye-opening, no? Na ito talaga yung karanasan ng mga Pilipino And it's nice na narinig natin siya in the Philippine language. But
Right.
anyway, so given po the context of your time and other lingering factors, na napag-usapan na po natin, yeah. Paano po nagsimulang maging political ang APO, and how did you get into it? Like, plano niyo po ba talaga? Or it just so happened na out of the blue, let's do this? Ano po yung kwento niyo?
Bago sagutin, magpapakita lang ako ng picture. Ayan,
Sige
yan po
po.
ang APO Hiking Society noon.
Wow!
Yan,
Ang popogi!
Diba?
Nox
Oh my
naman.
gosh. I miss that hair.
Yan, from the Dante Ambrosio collection, sa mga lumang periodiko. Yes. So, how did you become? I remember, Sir Jim, watching a video of you singing SM We've Got It All For You. You changed the lyrics.
Right.
Diba? Parang we've got it all, heart center, lung center, kidney center, what can you do? Like, IMF, World Bank, we built it all for you.
For you.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But before we even got there, we had an album called Feet on the Ground. That Feet on the Ground album, ginawa namin, the Beatles, yung Abbey Road cover. The Beatles are walking this way. Ginawa namin, we were walking this way.
Yeah.
And we were walking on what do you call that? Yung mga
Parang pedestrian.
Ginaya namin yung suit ng Beatles. No? Tapos ang likod nun, tapos may car dun sa likod. Habang we're walking, may car dun. Parang ginaya namin talaga yung Abbey Road. When you flip the cover, kasi records pa nun, may cover talaga. That car had bumped us already. No? So nakahiga kami sa road net. Tapos namatay na si Ninoy nun eh. So si Danny was in white, merong the man in white, di ba? The man in blue, si Galman, di ba? Meron kami mga ganun, the man in white, the man in blue, the witness. Yung parang the way they were analyzing the assassination of Ninoy Aquino. That was the back
look at
cover.
this, This is the back cover.
Our fans knew what we were doing. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. And then
at
the back, you see them, ayan, no?
Yes, that's
Pati yung post ni Ninoy when he was dropped in the tarmac. And then you have the man in blue there. Grabe. Wow,
so at that time, we were speaking only to our fans, no?
Yeah.
And they knew kasi alam nila may humor kami, may sarcasm kami. Tapos in that album, we had a song called Brother, Father, Mother, Father, Sister, Brother. And the first line was, look around and see the wave of the future coming right at you between your eyes. No? Tapos there's a line there, I think it's time for everyone to assert their freedom. Today, it means nothing.
Right.
But during the time when you sang that in concert, whoa! Sigawan ng mga tao. Parang talagang ang tapang-tapang mo na. No? Tapos, mothers and fathers, let's get it together and give it everything that we've got. Now is the time for us to come together and tell them who we are. Ganun ka-passive yung ganun ka-hidden yung mga lyrics. Pero during that time, na yun? Wow!
You can feel the power. I can feel it.
And people could identify with it. No?
Yung shared experience.
Yeah, shared experience. So.
And ang
and then the next album, we had American Junk na. Yun, matapang na.
Yeah.
Pero sir, di ba? Parang there are people who are saying, and I think I have to bring it out, na, the Marcoses were really supportive of culture, and then of course the OPM milieu is actually because there was a ruling by the martial law government na because they do not want people having, commentaries on radio. Right. Diba? Na parang there would be 3 OPM music.
No.
How was that?
No, that was Cory's time. The OPM mandate was already Cory's time. Regalo ni Cory yan sa OPM. Sa Organisasyon ng Pilipinang mang-aawit. Because we did EDSA.
And you were one of the founders of that? Yung organisasyon na yan? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did it come about? Tell us about it.
After martial law, we sang Handog ng Pilipino sa Mundo. It was such a big hit.
Yeah.
And people really felt na, let's shape our destiny. So as a sector, wala kaming sinabi eh. Ano lang kami eh. So we got together as singers and we formed Organisasyon ng Pilipino mang-aawit. And then we invited Cory to a show. We had a fundraising show where all the top singers were the waiters of the show.
Ah, wow.
Of the dinner. It's called Awit a la carte, no? So si Cory was there. She was our special guest. Kami yung waiter. Ma'am, would you like to, ano? Tapos sabi niya, anong mabibigay ko sa inyo? So, sabi namin, ma'am, hindi kami tinutugtog sa radyo eh. O sige, gawin natin, no? EO255. Yun ang nangyari.
Wow.
4 per hour pa nga ang ginawa niya eh. Oh.
Wow. 4 per hour.
Oh.
Pero yun nga, how do you answer that na parang there was support for Filipino culture so supposedly, and then bakit nagkaroon ng ferment? Even Freddy Aguilar was, di ba, writing songs against Marcos.
Well, there was no support for pop music itself. Well, Metro Pop was there, it's true, no? But, you know, artists being artists, we're not gonna go with pretense. Eh.
Right.
There's so much pretense about it. Like, for example, kumakanta ka, no? This happens all the time. Kumakanta ka sa show, tapos biglang darating si Imelda. She's not gonna wait for you to finish the song. She will just enter the hall. Pag tugtog niya, habang kumakanta ka, biglang tutugtog yung tam pam 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 pam. Pahiya ka, dito ka, biglang tigil ka, alis ka. You know, parang, hey, that was offensive. And the game was, we'll be doing a show, no? Tapos, mauna na ako bago dumating si Imelda, gano'n. Kasi, ayaw mo mabastos, eh. Tapos, maalala ko, yung isang singer, kumakanta, yung highest point of the song, yung talagang, you know, the peak of the song already, biglang, tan, 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 tan.
Oh my God.
Yung mukha niya, gano'n, no?
Grabe. Ayan, no? Totoong kwento yan. Totoong kwento, no?
Alam mo, yeah, you know, they were nice to artists they like. Mga Van Cliburn, yung mga ganyan, yung mga big, ano. Pero, artists in general, especially pop artists, wala naman kami mga ninong nung nag-aaral kami ng music, di ba? Wala naman kami mga financiers, eh.
Right.
We were rebels of the 70s. What the hell?
Right.
Love that.
Nobody tells you what to do.
I'm going to show you a series of, kasi di ba, nagiging known na kayo, the APO Hiking Society, pop, what they call this phenomenon in your time, bigla suddenly you're getting political. No? I'll show a picture of your group, no? Ito. Ayan, and tell us about this. No? Yeah. You remember this photo?
That was UP, yeah. That was namatay si Ninoy. And we were invited to talk, no? It was also at that point in our career where everybody was scared, eh. Takot lahat, eh. Tapos we really questioned what it meant to be an artist. I remember bringing up that discussion. Sabi ko, you know, are we just gonna sing pretty songs and that don't really affect people, that don't reflect our reality? You know, are we like makers of ikebana flowers and arrangement like that? Only beauty and all of that. No? And sabi ko, Charlie Chaplin spoke during World War II and he made a movie anti-Hitler. Picasso was exiled from di ba? From Spain.
Right.
Diba? And all of these South American artists during their military dictatorships were being exiled and persecuted and everything, no? So ako I felt na parang if you're really a free artist, you should really speak the way you want to speak.
Right.
It became like that, and parang wow, so, you know. I mean, we still knew our limits, hindi naman kami sisigaw ng ibagsak ang mga imperial, hindi kami ganun, eh.
Right.
So, nung namatay si Ninoy, the first concert that we did was we did the reenactment of the killing of Ninoy. Which
wow.
We showed the government reenactment, diba? I don't know if you remember that. They showed the government reenactment, and then there was this Japanese tape that was going around.
Right.
And there really was, because of the trajectory of the shot. Ang theory kasi ng government natin, came out of the van and shot in the tarmac, right?
Right.
Okay. Ang theory ng Japan, it couldn't have been so because the trajectory of the shot was going down. Lumabas sa chin, eh.
Right.
So that means the shooter was in the stairs.
Right.
Right? Oh, so yun ang ginagawa namin, no? It was like a joke, no? I'm sure you've seen this on TV, you know? Hindi tumatama yung tao. Hindi tumatawa. And then this is the Japanese version ginawa namin. Where, si Danny was, and Buboy was tiptoeing so high, holding a gun, para magkaroon ng trajectory. Nalalabas dito.
Correct.
Just to explain the trajectory. And I'm speaking in Japanese. Parang yung sa videotape.
Right.
May nagtawanan yung mga tao, tapos na-realize na, linuloko lang tayo talaga. Then we had a reputation after that. That's the one.
Right. So this is the Japanese footage na iniimbestigahan yung kay trajectory ng bala. So ginagaya ho ninyo ito.
Ginaya namin,
That was and remember na implications.
Yeah, the implication was pinatay talaga ng soldiers, di ba?
Yeah, exactly. But there will be implications of you doing that. Di ba? Noon, at that time.
During that time,
not scared?
Hindi pa kami pinapansin, pero napupuno yung mga concerts namin lagi, It became the events, And then you begin to realize that because of the crowd that kept getting bigger and bigger, na yung official culture ng martial law, wala na, nag-disintegrate na. The people hindi na sila naniniwala sa propaganda ng government. They were waking up to, hey, this is the truth, So, we became bolder and bolder.
Wala bang meron ba nagpasaring sa inyo na, baka may mangyari sa inyo or may nag-threaten?
Our classmates who were close to the children of the Marcoses called us up. Said, they're not so happy about it. Tapos nung nag-concert kami sa Ultra, which is the biggest venue then,
right.
Our title was Eto na po sila, di ba? Eto na po sila actually is Eto na po sila, right?
Right.
Those were the killing words before Ninoy was killed. Diba? Eto na po sila, which means eto na, shoot. That's what it means. Pero yung APO ginawa namin, eto na po sila.
Po sila, oh my God.
Okay. So our fans knew it. Our fans knew it was a brilliant, it was a brilliant subversive thing, And then when we went to this I found out only about 3 years ago. When we reserved Ultra for our concert, eto na po sila, yun ang title, Hiningi ni sabi ni Aimee, according to the people who worked with Aimee then, sabi niya that Aimee questioned the title. And they said, hindi, APO yan, walang yan, wala naman yan. Hiningi nila yung list of songs namin the night before. List of songs, bibigay mo. Lahat naman ng ginasabi namin nasa spills Di ba? O sa gitna ng song, di ba? So after we did that, it was like very subversive yung show talaga. Subversive during that time, but it was a lot of fun. We wanted a repeat. Band na kami.
Nako, yun na yun.
Band sa Ultra, band sa Cultural Center, band sa lahat ng government venues.
Wow.
We were banned on radio, we were banned on TV, and we were the hottest group.
Pero, di ba, Sir Jim, ito kasi, in a way, may calculation din on your part. Kasi if you have done it a bit earlier, and you were younger when in the early 70s, yari kayo. Di ba? You will be in
prison. Wala pa kami pakialam nun sa ganun
Oo. Pero nung panahon kasi ng 80s, na yan tama kayo, di ba? May sakit na si Pangulong Marcos, nawawala na rin yung grip niya. No? And medyo yun na nga, na may inaalaw na ilan. Pero if you're going to look at it, pag naman napagtuunan ka talaga ng pansin, yari ka, and you really do not know. Diba? Yun din yung may uncertainty din. So parang may excitement in a way, but also uncertainty. Di ba?
Pero yung fans namin kasi, alam nila yung alam nila yung humor namin
Right.
Kaya yung eto na po sila, na people thought it was so innocent.
Oo nga.
It was the killing words. Eto na po sila. Diba?
Kasi eto na po sila.
Alam ng fans yun, alam nila yun.
Nako yun.
Itong hapong ito
by the way, pag yung pusila na yan, nako, yan, malaking
a whole series
bagay yan noon.
Of hundreds of shows.
Oh, wow. Kaya, di ba, sang linggo na po sila. Eventually, sa linggo na po sila. Oh, di ba? You always play with that
Meron pa nga kaming isang show na it was a fundraising to buy chairs for schools. It was called Eto na Pusilya.
Ay, ang galing. Ang galing, ang galing. Ang galing. Now, let's talk about the events leading to people power. Ano? What were you feeling nung nagpatawag nga si President Marcos ng snap elections, which was the unthinkable thing to happen? Na biglang nagpatawag siya ng biglang election. No, 1987 pa dapat yung election.
Yeah. Call. Ako, feeling ko call. I had just met Cory Aquino.
How was she?
Oh my God. She went to Bikutan to visit the political prisoners, no?
Oh, wow.
And my mom was there. And she brought slippers and everything, no? And then she demanded that all political prisoners be freed, no?
Right.
I thought, wow, this woman is really something, no? I didn't meet her there. I think I met her outside there. But and then I was one of the first to actually see I was the first 500 who lined up in times 3 to see the body of
Ninoy. Yeah.
And then I stayed there the whole night, like mga 6 hours, no? At 3 in the morning, I was watching mamaya, libo-libo na nakapila, oh. And then I had this discussion with somebody there, and I said, sabi niya, makasaysayan ito ang nangyari. Sabi ko, oo nga. Sabi ko, itong gabing ito, maalala natin ito, sinabi ko sa kanya. Stranger, na we all felt it was like history had turned the page. That this was really, sabi ko, from here on, iba ng balasa ng baraha. No? They don't have all the cards now. Biglang ganun. So when he called the snap election, call.
And yung APO ba became, did you openly perform for the campaign?
Yes. But not so many shows. Because we had our own shows going. At saka during the time, hindi pa nila iniisip pag-imbita ng artista eh.
Hindi pa masyadong uso. Hindi tulad ngayon.
I wrote the song that Freddie would sing, yung Hindi Ka Nag-iisa. I don't know. It was never released eh. No? I think you can find it in the internet. It was a song I made about Ninoy landing. It was a story of Ninoy landing in the tarmac. And Freddie Aguilar sang it. I felt Freddie was more worthy to sing it than I was because I was very insecure with my voice. And I felt that it wasn't bagay for APO because of the way it was written. So I told Freddie, you want to do it? And not even the musicians knew we were recording a song that was subversive during that time. The title of the song of the music charts was One More Time, yun ang title. So tinutugtog nila, wala namang kumakanta yan, di ba? So hindi nila alam kung ano yung tinutugtog nila. Basta alam nila One More Time yung title ng song.
Sir Jim, I
then
found
Freddie
the video.
Came in and sang it. Yeah.
I found the video of Di Ka Nag-iisa. I think it would be instructive for our teachers now who are listening to listen. Let's listen to it, no? Kasi ako din, I haven't it, no? So, let's listen. This is Hindi Ka Nag-iisa.
Siya sa bayan niya, dala lamang ay pag-asa. Di mapigil ang inggit nila, sa isang bala linagot ang buhay niya. Buong bayan ay pumila upang magisnan ang bangkay niya, at sa ganon malaman na ang bawat tao'y di nag-iisa. Di ka nag-iisa, di nag-iisa. Di ka nag-iisa. Kahit pilitin pa nila sa pamamagitan ng bala, di nila mapipigil ang pag-usbong ng pag-asa, pagkat likas sa Pilipinong manatiling malaya. Kaya tandaan, di ka nag-iisa.
Tayo ng technical problems, no? Pero yun, yan ang ganda, sir. Yung
Gosh, when I wrote that, I felt so empowered. Sabi ko, my gosh, sabi ko, I'm playing with dynamite.
Right.
Sabi ko, I'm just a pop singer. What am I doing doing this? But I really felt I had to do it because I really felt that it's the same reason why I wrote Handog. Sabi ko, if it's a truly historical event, it must have a theme song.
Right.
You know. So I wrote that. Sabi ko, and the title was One More Time. That was the title. Operation
Wow.
One More Time.
Now, then, di ba, syempre, of course, there was a boycott, di ba, of February 16, in which, because the Congress declared Cory the loser and Marcos the winner of the snap presidential elections. And then there was a boycott na pinatawag ni Cory sa Luneta, no? 7 banks, ano? And
7 banks, big companies
Coca-Cola,
like San Miguel, Rustans, di ba?
People do not really, ngayon, parang the focus is on the 4 days, eh. For me, you have to stretch it to February 16, eh.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about it? What were people doing in February 16 to before the EDSA revolution happened? That actually, it was a 10-day parang civil disobedience campaign that would culminate to a work stoppage and strike on the 25th of February, which is the inauguration of Marcos. Pero yun nga, people power happened. Pero how was it yung before EDSA happened, itong February 16, the 7-day boycott, no, that happened?
Well, before EDSA happened, I remember we were gonna have a repeat of Eto Na Po Sila, no? So ginawa namin, Eto Na Naman Po Sila, which we held it at the Ateneo, yung covered courts, no?
Right.
And Mike De Leon lent us a what do you call this? Lent us a generator because we thought they would kill the lights. You know?
Right.
And then when we did that, grabbing concert na yun, it was really wild. It was amazing. Then we had a repeat after that. Nanalo na po sila after EDSA na.
Right.
The same day. But anyway, after that, ang nangyari, so it was elections, campaign, tapos bantay ng balota. Yung tipong matutulog ka talaga sa munisipyo, no? Para you guard the ballot box, you really hug it, no?
Right.
And people were chaining themselves to it para hindi talaga maano. Tapos yung sa canvassing, di ba?
Right.
So, and people were living by word of mouth. Wala namang mga text, wala namang ano eh. Except for a magazine called Mr. and Miss that would update, di ba, what was happening. At saka Malaya newspaper. Tapos nagkaroon ng ano. So, Dayan nga, di ba? So, nagkaroon ng boycott. Rustans before was pinaggigigilan yun kasi Marcos Crony yung may-ari. People actually went to Rustans to try on stuff but did not buy. So people would, give me size 10 of this one, all of these colors, ganun. They would try it but, they won't buy it. Tapos ang nangyari, inside, spontaneously nag-break into Bayang Magiliw yung buong Rustans. Lahat kumakanta ng Bayang Magiliw. Taranta sila talaga, parang spontaneous crowd. It was like what do you call that, yung flash mob, no? Na hindi plinano. Yung talagang, ganun na mga nangyayari. In schools, it was like people would just not go to school anymore. They would, every class would be just a discussion of what's happening, and people were really restless and everything. And then when that spark happened, lahat nagpunta sa EDSA.
Right.
And this was ako na I had an argument with Honasan in this. Honasan claimed people went there to protect. Cardinal Sin called for it, and because we wanted Cory to be installed president. We didn't care about Enrile. I mean, he was all of a sudden a good boy, di ba?
Yeah. Matagal silang
Matagal silang
sumuporta, di ba?
Yeah, martial law, everything.
Sabihin ko lang, I just want to show Alida and our, yung ating mga kasamahan dito, the scenes from the snap elections. Ito yung mga totoong ballot snatching ito.
Baril yan, yung hawak niya.
Baril yan, hindi play toy gun yan, tapos yung, look at these goons, mga kaibigan. Look at these goons.
Nakakapangilabot talaga.
Yeah.
Like, imagine all of the offenses for human rights. It's so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And look at how the people guarded the ballots. Talagang
That's
bibigyan
the
ka talaga.
integrity of our rights. You know, these people, they're really protecting the sanctity of our vote. Kasi it's our right to decide. They can't rob it from us. We are born with these rights. It's written in the highest law of the land, the Constitution. They can't just rid us of that. You know,
Bravo,
so this
bravo,
fight,
Ali. Wow.
honestly, grabe,
I admire
like I'm
you.
just listening to this conversation. I can really feel it in my heart. Yung fire that you had ever since you were young, po, Sir Jim, I can still feel it in you. And I think marami sa aming mga kabataan, we feel the same way because
Yeah.
we just can't give these up. Pinaghirapan nyo, tapos mawawala lang. No, hindi tayo papayag. No.
Di papayag mawalang muli, di ba?
No, never again. No.
Oh.
But for me, I felt as an individual then, no? I would go where there was trouble, you know. Magulo sa Makati, punta tayo Makati, ganun. Panoorin natin, mamaya lipat na naman to another place and everything. It was really amazing. It was really amazing. Tapos nagkaroon ng debate sa TV, yung ano, NAMFREL versus COMELEC, no? Ayan, ganyan kalaki yung crowd namin. O biro mo yan, no?
Ito yung boycott sa Rustans.
Oh. Grabe.
Yeah, Rustans in a rush hour na nakakaunti ang tao.
Galit na talaga eh.
Oh, yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
So, what happened was, of course, Enrile bolted away from Marcos, February 22, with Eddie Ramos. Of course, everyone is familiar with the story. A lot of people are not familiar with kasi ito yung hindi na-realize ng mga bata noon. If Marcos and General Ver wanted to shut down a station, kaya nilang gawin. And the only one who was reporting was Radio Veritas.
Right.
And Radio Veritas, of course, they're broadcasting from Manila, but their transmitter was in Malolos, Bulacan. Malapit doon sa mall ngayon doon sa Malolos, ano?
Oh, so, pero, yeah.
But what happened was, they smashed it. They smashed it. So hindi nag-stop. They smashed the transmitter in Malolos, but they have a backup transmitter in Fairview.
That's right. Yep.
Right. So apparently may role kayo dyan. What did you do in Fairview?
So everybody was in EDSA. Yung Fairview, andun yung Radio Veritas.
Right.
So APO called entertainers to go to Fairview and put up a show so that people would be there. And there are thousands of people there. And what we did was we put up a show to get them there just to stay overnight, no? And people did stay until really, really late, no?
Para hindi kung may dumating na sundalo.
No. So we were there, no? We put up a show, and I remember si Nora Honor pa noon, she went for Marcos, di ba?
Yes.
And then she had the change of mind after EDSA na.
Right.
And she wanted Lino Broca, who was against Marcos, but really a fan of Nora Honor. Brought Ate Guy there.
Wow.
No? Para to reintroduce her back to the fold. Kasi,
right.
Kumanta si Guy doon.
This is before he went to Krame, na dinumog siya at binu. This is before he went there.
Binu siya doon eh.
He went there.
Dito, Lino Broca gave a nice introduction and and I sabi ko, kahit pa paano magkakampi na tayo lahat, yung mga ganun na. And she was mas accepted siya doon. So it was really quite a time. And then that morning, had very little sleep. We would leave the house, no? We left our children at my mother-in-law's house, and we would always say, whatever happens to us, kayo na mag-alaga kung sakali.
Wow.
It was ganun. You are ready to die. You are ready to die. Yung talagang, So we would ride the car, kami ng wife ko. Tapos I heard on radio, sa Radyo Bandido, Jim Paredes. Come here to Radyo Bandido. Sabi ko, where the hell is Radyo Bandido? Nobody knew. And then I said, I think I know.
Okay, wait lang Before you say something about that, I'm going to show you a little video before we continue that discussion. This is talking about the transmitter. This is from an old documentary, Mga Tinig ng Himagsikan, first foundation for Worldwide People Power, which became Eugenia Apostol Foundation. Just listen to the discussion between Tito Jim and si Bianca Gonzalez.
Kayo po?
We were in Radio Veritas, keeping vigil.
Kasi, kahit na winasak ng mga puwersa ni General Ver ang main transmitters ng Radio Veritas, it was still able to continue broadcasting using a small standby transmitter. That's why naroon kami para bantayan ito. Kaya lang, it eventually gave out towards the evening of that day.
You also have this, tawag dito? Meron pang video kayo where there was actually footage. Ano yun? How did you have that hunch? Where that, kasi di ba, again, the context is the smash na yung transmitter ng Radio Veritas, and then what happened was, of course, the backup transmitter was just backup transmitter, so it can only last for a few hours, and then namatay na yung Radio Veritas ngayon. And suddenly, some people were hearing radio signals from what used to be Radio Veritas, and they were, and the announcer of Radio Veritas is there, si June Kitley, the song of June Kitley, Onward Christian Soldiers was there, Mambo Magsaysay was there being played, and may bago silang station, and hinahanap nyo ngayon. But how did you, ano yung hunch na yun? Bakit alam ninyo?
My hunch was it was DCRJ. Because I don't know, I just felt it was DCRJ. And when I got there, sira yung elevator, I had to go up the stairs, right?
Right.
Nasa taas yun eh. Alam mo, to the whole exit, kung saan ka dadaan, it was so eerie, it was very dark. You could hear Hail Mary being said there by nuns.
Oh my God.
And old women who were seated on the steps, no? Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is. In other words, they were the first defense.
Yeah.
Yung sugurin ng radyo.
Yeah, because June Kitley was being called by someone. Sabi niya, don't you know that you're going to die now? Sabi nung, na-abuse si June. And kasama niya doon yung dalawang bata, si Gabe tsaka si Paolo Mercado.
And when I got there, just as I got there, I was filming, I had my Betacam, Betamax camera. I was filming, and then June Kitley said, Jim, watch the TV. Tapos biglang, Marcos was talking, no, on the TV. Tapos biglang, nawala si Marcos. Tapos a few minutes of dead air, no? Tapos biglang, boom, may lumabas. There was a table, mahabang table. Yung mga activist friends ko, nandun lahat. Yung mga radio announcers, like, giggling there. Sila Manong Tiveros, they were like, they had taken over ABS-CBN.
Which used to be Channel 4.
So sabi ni
ABS-CBN.
Punta na tayo doon, punta na. So we went. No?
Wow, look at that.
And then when I got there, sabi ni Johnny Manahan, Jim, Danny, kayo na mag-host ng show ngayon, right now. So we were like, also the instant show, no? So then we were gleaning na parang, andito kami sa Channel 4 ang it was PTV4 now, no? That building. So nandito kami, and people power were here, and we were reading, messages like, kailangan ng tao kailangan ng mga sandwiches sa EDSA, please magpadala kayo. And people are bringing sandwiches there. We're directing traffic of everything, Kailangan ng more people outside of this building, please come. And when we entered ABS, it was very funny because, not funny, it was actually admirable. The first line of defense, were paraplegics. Naka-wheelchair lahat.
Wow.
Second line of defense, children. No, nuns and priests. Third line of defense, children. Fourth line of defense, ordinary people. How will you attack a place like that? Galing, no?
I'll show something, I'll show something na about yung kinuwento kanina. Remember that there was no moving footage of Radio Bandido on top of that tower. The building is called JNT Building now. Tapos sa Santa Mesa ito, you can actually see it when you ride the LRT2 na may torre sa ibabaw. It's actually very dangerous to be trapped there if the soldiers will come. Very dangerous kasi kailangan tumalon ka eh.
No escape.
No, there's no escape. But the nuns were there. Yung lagi kinikwento ni June. At let's watch this.
Tito, kanina sinabi mo na pansamantalang na off the air ang Radio Veritas. Paano at kailan po ito nakapag-broadcast ulit?
Sa tulong ng isang Jesuita na si Father James Reuter, nakahanap ng kapalit na radio station ang Radyo Veritas. Muli itong bumalik sa ere lampas ng hating gabi ng February 23. Kaya lang, tinawag na itong Radyo Bandido.
Yung studio nila was sa Santa Mesa. 10 floors and then a tower. Kung i-raid kami, the only way we'd escape was to go down the spiral staircase from the tower and then jump to the next building on the 10th floor. The spiral staircase that I described, punong-puno ng mga madre na grocery. I always get asked the question, was I scared? You were 12 years old, ganon-ganon. Hindi eh. Hindi kami takot nun at all dahil number one, kung i-raid ka ng military tapos 12 years old ka, medyo exciting pa yon. Number two, and I really thought this at that time, kung mamatay ako ng 12 years old, okay lang. Sa loob ng booth, meron kaming VHF radio. Ako yung traffic. We would relay the messages to June Keithley for her to broadcast. Because we had a team of other actors. One team in Krame. One team sa labas kung saan nag-tear gas.
And by Sunday morning, the Catholic station Radio Veritas, the only station broadcasting for the rebels, would be immobilized by Marcos forces, making a transfer necessary to a secret place they call DZRB, Radio Bandido, the new message center for the rebels in their most trying hours.
Yes?
That
Yun.
footage, you were bringing a, what kind of camera was that?
Betamax camera. That's what
Betacam.
it's called.
Oh.
Betacam yata ang tawag or something.
Yeah, wow. May isa pa akong gustong ipakita dito na isa pa, yung dinidescribe, kasi you have to see this, kasi talagang nakakapangilabot panoorin if you watch it, no? Itong isang footage, no, na I'll just look at it, no? Dahil ito yung i-describe na nawala sa ere yung si Marcos. And then eto na, no, na nagkaroon sila ng na yung bigla nagkaroon kayo ng channel. Remember that every channel was controlled by the government, no? And in fact, nung People Power apparently gusto ring i-control yung yung Channel 7 actually.
Oh. Yeah.
'Di ba? Ito. Ayan, ito. Masaya to. Okay. Ito. So panoorin lang natin to, napaganda ring panoorin.
I recommended to him that we should move back to Porta Bonifacio, which he has acceded.
Hindi lang kontrol ng kanyang mga sundalo ang unti-unting nawala kay Marcos. Habang ipinapalabas ang kanyang press conference sa government TV station, bigla itong naputol sa ere. Na-take over na pala ng isang rebeldeng tropa ang Channel 4 na dating pag-aari ng ABS-CBN.
Biglang nagkaroon ng media power ang mga rebelde.
Di pa agad-agad because there was still one problem. Paano nila patatakbuhin muli ang Channel 4?
Even long before that, we always thought of how we as the broadcast people could help in our own way to unseat the Marcos regime. Pumasok na kami, yung grupo ko, sila Jimmy Navarro, si Badong Castillo, si Princesito Pascual. Pumasok kami. Wala na yung stasyon. Off the air na yung stasyon. Yung lumala akong ganyan, talagang kinakabahan ako, katakot-takot ang kaba ko. Kasi karirinig mo lang ng putok eh. Nagkataon naman, may lumabas na isang engineer. Tinawag ko, nakilala naman kaagad ako. Kinausap ko siya, sabi ko, nasaan yung mga iba? Kinento niya sa akin na, nandyan lang ho, nakatago lahat-lahat, takot, natatakot. Yung labanan nga. Tinawag ko, sabi ko, tawagin mo lahat-lahat yan. Sabi mo, pinatatawag sila ni Jake Lopez. At sabi mo sa kanila, walang recrimination, walang gantihan, walang basta, ang gagawin lang natin, we will put the station on the air. Meron dumating na grupo galing sa Radio Veritas, si Orly Punsalan. Yung yumao na Orly Punsalan. If I'm not mistaken, it must have been about 1 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday. We went on the air and we asked only to be the one to announce.
Good afternoon, ladies and
Mano
gentlemen.
Tiberos.
Channel 4 is on the air again to serve the people.
Kasama po kayo dun sa mga unang
Nag-launch na
telecast,
tayo eh.
di ba, Tito?
Tama. Ang daming artista at production staff na dating mga taga-ABS ang nag-volunteer ng kanilang services. Sarap talaga ng feeling.
Ngayon lang po ang pagkakataon. Ayan.
Gagawin ko rin. Napakasarap! Sobra na! Tama na! Balikan na!
So, yun. How does it feel to do that?
Oh my God.
Television, no?
You know, things weren't certain then. I mean,
Yeah.
there was euphoria and everything, and finally you could say what you wanted to say. And I remember when I was there, I don't know if you have the footage, but we got news that Marcos had declared curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., di ba? After I read that, I said, let us not follow this, no? And then I threw the paper, I crumpled it or something. And right after I did that, bumalik yung fear ko talaga. Parang, Jim, what did you do? That's really,
Like, what if
Out
he
and out
actually
defiance, pero
wins,
sabi
di
ko,
ba?
Sabi ko, I told myself, bahala na to. This is it. The line has been drawn. Sabi ko, bahala na talaga.
And of course, no, what did you feel when it was announced that Marcos had fled? February 25. What did you feel?
Yung una kasi may false alarm, di ba? Nasabi.
24 yon, yes.
Oh, yeah. Nung finally umalis na, I wanted to go to Malacanang.
Yeah.
Pero sabi ko, baka masyadong magulo na. Sabi ko, hindi na. Nakapagod na ako. I was like hardly sleeping the past days. Mga 2 hours a day lang ako natutulog, no? So, I went home. I think we went home ng wife ko. And we had our children with us. And we just relaxed. And then the next day, the very next day, people were cleaning the streets.
Wow.
That was amazing. There was so much trash in EDSA, di ba?
Right.
People went there and cleaned the streets and parang back to normal.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Wow. And I will show you a footage na someone gave it to me beta. No? And hindi napapalabas ito masyado. And let me show you. The context was this was the Sunday after People Power. This was March 2.
Okay.
Okay, panoorin niyo po and react after kung how was it.
Ang dating dalagang si Maria Clara sumasayaw ngayon dyan sa may ermita. Ngunit pagka nila'y buhat ng mata, ayaw na nilang magpasamantala. Nag-iba na balik ko sapagkat tuloy ang ikot ng mundo. Sabay-sabay lahat. Ikaw ba'y makaluma o makabago? Ganyan talaga pare ko. Ganyan talaga pare ko. Sapagkat tuloy ang ikot, tuloy ang ikot, tuloy ang ikot ng mundo.
ba, that was the Misa ng Pasasalamat, March 2,
Yeah.
1986. You were performing, that was before the Mass happened. You see all the personalities, Doy Laurel, Celia Laurel, no, sitting there, Eva Estrada Calao, no, the heroes of the anti-Marcos resistance. You are now in power, diba? And APO Hiking Society is performing in front of 1 million people at the Luneta. No? How was it? How does it feel?
Alam mo, after a while, may blur na eh. Parang, you know, it's just people everywhere, no? But even at that time, I'll give you different reactions, no? As a Filipino, I felt good about it. Parang we had done what we needed to do, no? As a performer, I was still insecure as a performer then. Marami pa akong insecurities that I couldn't sing that well, alam mo na. Yung mga ganun na may self-consciousness pa ako. So parang ganun ang feeling. But it was, when you sing for 100 people, 1 million people, and you hear them roaring with applause after, it's like you're taming a dragon, you know?
Right.
It's talagang force. You really feel the force of, yung talagang, you feel history, you feel the weight of history, you feel the sentiment, you feel everything happening at the same time, and you're like surfing on it, no? Like a big wave, and you're surfing on it masterfully, no? So it was, wow.
Diba?
Amazing. Oh.
No, when I saw that, talagang wow talaga, no? Apo in the middle of history. Just imagine, ano? Sige, Ali. This question is bound to be asked. Ali.
Yes po, Sir Jim, grabe. Habang nagkakwento po kayo, I am getting goosebumps kasi it's different to read about what happened during this time, and it's different to actually situate yourself through the experiences of others. Grabe, sir, my respect for you has increased by a tenfold. But anyway, to the question. Yung EDSA Revolution of 1986, it's known to be a peaceful revolution, and it began a new era marked by true freedom and democracy. So, can you please tell us about yung kanta po ninyo na Handog ng Pilipino sa Mundo?
You know, that song is, I call it one of my most inspired songs. No?
Right.
Which I can count in, not more than 4. But I really felt that it was, I really felt na if there's such a thing as a muse, di ba? Sabi nila may muse, di ba? To inspire artists. I really felt pinili ako.
Right.
Because when I sat down to write it, or maybe I have been writing it all throughout the years, no? Because every line there was actually a feeling, a true feeling. And an image like, magkakapit bisig libo-libong tao. Kay sarap pala maging Filipino. That line was so spontaneous sa akin. Parang, you felt that pride na, you've been living under a dictatorship for the longest time. You've been lied to, inapi kayo and everything. Tapos, then you realize, wow, there is a joy in being a free Filipino if you fight for it. And then, mas na nang nagaganap sa aming bayan, mas magkasama ng mahirap at mayaman, kapit-pili. All of that were scenes that I had seen. And, when I tell people, and I've told this a million times, but when I tell people, when they ask me how long did I take to write it, I say 2 minutes. But it took 5 minutes to play. In other words, if it were a laser, it was, I had a complete song in my head, but it just takes 5 minutes to play.
Right.
So I was actually literally writing it this fast. Di na ako papayag, mawala ka muli, di na ako papayag, sinusuot ko yung lyrics. Bilis. Ganun. No? So it was like, I didn't change anything. That was it. When I wrote it, that was it. No correction, no nothing. No? And then when I asked singers to sing it, agawan sila sa linya. Si Celeste, lumapit kagad. Akin yung kay sarap maging Pilipino.
Wow. Grabe. I want to show you something. Kailangan ko lang siyang hanapin sa aking hard drive. Ito lang, mabilis lang naman ito. Kasi I was actually at the EDSA Shrine noong People Power Day kasi nagkaroon ng misa doon, no? And I saw something in that place, and hopefully nandito siya, no? 25. Ito. Ayan. Lapit na. Oops. Ako nasa earlier folder. I have to show this kasi magandang makita ng mga kababayan natin, ano? Itong inscription na ito, no? Ito 2025 there. Okay, ito na po. Nakita ko naman agad. Ayan. Ito. There. Okay. Sir Jim, ano reaction mo dito, no? This is EDSA Shrine. And the lyrics of the song is there.
Yeah. Wow.
Diba? It's like a monument, diba? Na naroon, no? Yung lyrics. How was it? How does it feel?
I didn't even know they're gonna put the lyrics there. When I went there, and then I realized, sabi ko, tatlo lang ang may quotation dito sa ano to Si Ninoy Aquino, si Cardinal Sin, at si Jim Paredes.
Diba? Imagine.
What am I doing beside these great people, you know? Parang...
Now, just to put context to yung ginagawa natin, we'll try this. I hope we do not get, I hope we don't go off the air. But I'll play 4 minutes lang naman, Handog ng Pilipino sa Mundo music video made by the legendary great director Mike De Leon. And dito nyo makikita, maganda makita nyo kasi it contextualizes also the People Power Revolution against the backdrop of the whole Philippine history. Yan ang magandang maintindihan natin. So, please watch this. This is courtesy of Sir Mike De Leon.
nagaganap sa aming bayan. Pagkasama ng mahirap at mayaman, kapit, bisig, madre, pari at sundalo. Naging langit itong bahagi ng mundo. Huwag muling payagang umiral ang dilim.
Tinig ng bawat tao'y bigyan ng pansin. Magkakapatid lahat sa Panginoon.
Ito'y lagi nating tatandaan.
Wow. 'Di ba? Fantastic. Alam niyo yung ano, no, yung We Are the World. 'Di ba? Parang ganoon, ano, yung various artists collab. Uso yan ngayon, collab. Just imagine the greatest stars of OPM, no, in one song. Yan po yung handog ng Pilipino sa mundo. And actually, there is an international release, 'di ba? A New and Better Way.
Yes.
And yung New and Better Way yan, there's a video by Paulo Cabling from Bulacan. I think you're familiar with this video. Nang pinakita niya na ginaya sa buong mundo yung People Power Revolution Diba?
Especially sa Eastern Europe.
Yes.
Mga Poland, mga ganon. And you know, I was talking to a foreign correspondent, no?
Right.
During Tiananmen Square.
Yeah.
And he was saying that the Chinese students had copies of People Power, our book.
Yeah.
And they would tear off the pages and put it on the walls of their universities, no?
This one.
Yan, idol na idol nila tayo, mga Pilipino.
Nagaganon nga sila, Laban daw gumaganon sila
And they felt that we had set the tone for a peaceful revolution, except that, you know, they underestimated
the Chinese communist regime.
Pinatay sila, di ba?
That's true.
Talagang historical revisionism. Erase all traces. No?
Now, wow. Ali, this is now, of course, we come now to, kasi it's 8:47, no? We come to today. Diba? We come to today. No? Of course, marami pa nangyari sa APO and kay Sir Jim, diba? After that. But we come to today and we're now at the situation where we are now, no? Ali.
Yes. So, ano po? For Sir Jim po.
Yeah.
Okay, so sir, having been an EDSA veteran, what is the spirit of EDSA? And why do you want it to be alive today? And if I may add lang, just watching the music video, it made me so emotional because hindi talaga deserve ng mga Pilipino ang mahirapan at ma-oppress. We all have the right to a good life, to be free. So sorry, I just had to say that. Ibang klase po kayo, Sir Jim, grabe.
Well, you know, the spirit of EDSA for me is what I see in the Lenny rallies now, actually.
Right.
People are giving themselves to the movement, no? In other words, walang pa-importante, walang ano, no? Sa EDSA, abonado kami lahat.
Right.
We risked our careers, you know, we lost shows and all of that, and because we were thinking of the big picture of where history will bring us, no? And you know, to be honest with you, I'm really not comfortable about all of this praise that I get for doing EDSA, because I really felt that it was just the right thing to do.
Right.
You know, when after Cory Aquino won, she asked me one favor, no? She asked me something. Tinawagan ako ng somebody from her side and said, ask Jim what he wants. No? He can ask me a favor and I will give it. Sabi ko, ma'am, nakatira ako sa Fairview, wala kaming telepono. Pwede bang magpakabit lang ng telepono? A week later, she came back. Sabi niya, Jim, sorry, wala daw talagang linya. President of the Republic
cannot give you a telephone line.
Exactly.
Meron pang party line yun.
Okay lang. I mean, wala akong hiningi. You know, I just don't. We just have to do what we have to do, I think, when duty calls. Parang ganun.
And you've been passionate all these years na hindi talaga makalimutan yun, sir. No? Of course, sometimes friendships are sacrificed, di ba? In the process, no? And of course, hindi naman natin maitatago. There's so many people who wanted to destroy you because of this, di ba? And we soldier on. Kumbaga, you still do it despite everything.
You know, when you get a death threat, you really worry and everything. But you know what? Feel the fear, but do it anyway.
Right.
Because you'll regret more because you didn't do it. You know. Sometimes I say, sometimes ang mantra ko as an artist, I always say, you know, jump and the net will appear.
Right. Wow.
Parang,
tama yun eh. It's like faith in God, ano?
Faith in God, at saka faith in like me, I believe in art eh. Like for example, when I write a song na talagang sabihin ko, well, hindi uso ito ngayon, pero bit ko ginagawa. Why don't I do the uso ones? But I tell myself, pero, you know, you don't look at marketing figures to make a song.
That's
you
true.
Look at what you have to say, di ba? Ang difference nga ngayon ng songwriters, sila puro marketing yun. Kaya ang daming pare-parehong tunog eh.
Right, right.
I always tell myself, which is the 70s mindset, no?
Right.
The first question you ask as a songwriter is, what do I want to say? No? So it's not about, anong uso ngayon? I never think like that. No? So I tell myself, okay, it's gonna cost money. I'm gonna, you know, do this. But I'll say, you know what? Why should you do it any differently?
Right.
I believe this is what I'm about. So my contribution is not to have a gold record. My contribution, I think my duty as an artist is to speak.
That's true.
Diba? At saka na yung mga accolades, ganun, wag mo na isipin yun. Kung mangyayari yun, mangyayari yun.
And to hum it to the universe. Kumbaga.
Hum it to the universe.
Oh, you know, may books si Sir Jim, series of books, Humming in My Universe. So you have to also read that.
That's in the later part of my life when I discovered Zen.
Yes. Now, before we get questions, my last question before we get the questions from the Facebook is, you know, it's been a long journey, and talagang you've been with these two friends of yours, no, the APO Hiking Society, and I'm actually glad na, no, in many ways, nagkatugma ulit kayo, diba? Recently. So, if you have a message to your two friends, Buboy Garovillo, Danny Javier, looking back at all the experiences that you have had tonight, ano po yun?
Ako, I would quote the Beatles, a song by the Beatles. You and I, or the three of us, have memories longer than the road that stretches far ahead.
Wow! I love that song. Wow. Galing.
Saka, alam mo, we did something, I always say nga eh, we did something, you know, sometimes, to borrow a tweet that I read today from Robles, no? Sabi niya, sometimes you don't know that history is already casting you. Eh.
Right,
no?
Right.
You don't know it. Eh. All of a sudden, your situation is the pinched nerve of everything, no? So, ikaw ang taya. No?
Right.
No, atras ka ba o kagawin mo? No, you just have to do what you have to do, right? Ikaw yung taya at that moment. No? And I always say, whatever position you get in government, whatever it is, there will come a time when you will be the flashpoint. And you'll be asked to do the right thing. You either do it or you flake out, no?
Wow.
So, parang ganun. So for me, that's how I see it.
Yun ang talagang takeaway natin eh. Just do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, just trust that everything will, you know, fall into place.
Yeah.
Diba?
Dalawang mantra ito eh.
Yeah.
Jump and the net will appear. The other one is, sometimes it is better to be sorry than safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you learn something, right?
Yeah. You learn
when
something.
When you're too safe, you don't learn anything.
And you can look back and say, you know, you did it. Diba?
Yeah.
Wala ka regrets. Right. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, Ali, baka may pabati ka dyan sa mga nanonood na, di ba sabi mo, fans ng mga ni
You know, Ali,
APO.
you're such a delightful young person.
Exactly.
Thank you,
you know, wow. You feel what you feel when you said that now, you know, we all deserve the freedom and everything. Actually, it brought me close to tears.
Oh my
God. How nice. I know that feeling.
And you know,
I had that feeling.
And the feeling, and actually feeling it, that she's really upset about, you know, a lot of things that's happening now, which is good, because that means that, you know, you're inspired to act, Ali.
Exactly. It's the collective experience talaga that brings us together, and art is a good way of expressing that.
You know, one of the big things for me that I did, which very few people know, was I wrote a pop opera.
Oh, wow.
Called Bayani, no? And this is a historical fantasy. It's about scenes that never happened in history, but what would have happened if it actually, how would it have gone if it actually happened? Like, for example, Rizal's book launching of the Noli, no?
Right.
Where the people who attended were Padre Damaso, Kapitan Tiago,
Wow.
and everything, no? And they would have a discussion there, no? Or Rizal meeting Bonifacio, you know?
Right. Wow.
And how would it have gone? My theory was, you know, the problem with that was hindi sila nagsama. Because ang feeling ko, and the way I did it in a pop way was a discussion with Bonifacio and Rizal saying, sabi ni Rizal, sana nasa akin ang tapang mo. Tapos sabi ni Bonifacio, sana nasa akin ang dunong mo. Kahit hindi nagsama sa isang tao. You know? And I wrote this with Bien Lumbera, no? National artist. Because, you know, Bien was my teacher, and then I visited him when he was a prisoner. Eh? He was a political prisoner.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he was exiled to Hawaii. So I wrote him, I have this idea for a pop opera, things that never happened. In the end, Bonifacio hitches with Josephine Bracken. They continue the revolution.
Wild. Because Josephine actually really fought in the revolution, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
Diba?
Ako, history buff ako eh.
Diba? In fairness. Oo. Oh, Ali, may question na nagrehistro dito sa FB natin. Oo. From nasa ano mo? Nasa messenger mo?
Sa Facebook. Okay, I'll
But
check
anyway,
it
before
out
that,
right now.
I would like to give comments from my good friend, the historian, Ian Christopher Alfonso from the National Quincentennial Committee. No? Sabi ni Ian, si Jim Paredes, ang isa daw sa pumili ng Bagani as theme song of the National Quincentennial Commemoration. Oh?
Yes.
Yung kay Roel Rostata.
Yes.
And siya rin ang tumulong kay Ian, sabi niya sa akin, mag-annotate sa mga bootcamps ng NQC historically. So in-expound niya pa ang mga sharings ko about the Quincentennial. At may napakaganda daw siyang wisdom na sinabi, and quote, "We feel home wherever we go in the Philippines because we hear in every corner a Filipino sings our songs. That's the sense of nation." So, sabi niya, kung hindi man daw verbatim yun, pakicorrect na lang. But that is what you said in Tagum Philpat Bootcamp.
Actually, I always say this, that the creators of OPM, built a nation. Kasi prior to that, if you're born in Mindanao and I was born in Manila and somebody was born in Apari, we had nothing in common.
Yeah.
Except geographically, yun lang. But when we started to like the same songs, then the bonding increased, right? Di ba? Nagkaroon tayo ng more connections, no? So I thought OPM was like really, we made the soundtrack of, we wanted to make the soundtrack of commonality, no? In other words, meron tayong shared experience nga, di ba? If you like this song, oh my gosh, theme song ko rin yan, di ba? So right away, may link na kayo, di ba?
Right. Wow. Sabi niya, tanong niya, buhay pa ba yung original draft in paper nung handog ng Pilipinas sa mundo?
So sadly, the original paper, which everybody had signed, no?
Oh my God.
Pinahiram ko kay Kuli Desma for Music Museum. Diba kasi ang dami niya mga...
Right, the memorabilia, yes.
Nasunog yung Music Museum. Nasunog yun.
Oo. May photograph ba kayo nung papel na yun? Was it sayang? Oh, wow. Kasi may historical data bank na isasama sana sa National Memory Project. You know what I did? I actually have a handog ng Pilipino sa mundo print out which I let you sign. Meron ako niyan when I was in college. When I was in college, no? Na ipa-sign ko sa inyo yon. And anyway, sige Ali, the question.
Yes po. So this question is from Miss Angeline Avetino Salvador. Good evening. So, ano po ang payo na maibibigay po ninyo sa mga Filipino musicians ngayon sa panahon ng political division sa Pilipinas?
Yun, napaka-importanting tanong.
Alam mo, one of the things, well, let me explain one thing. The power of music is very, very strong. No? I remember one professor who told me, I teach a whole course on American imperialism in UP during that time. Sabi niya, and you do it in 2.5 minutes in American Junk. When you wrote American Junk, sabi niya, you just summarize everything and they take it emotionally pa. Embedded pa yung emotion. Sa akin, puro dito lang sa utak and it takes time to really, so I tell people, as musicians, as artists, we have to tell the story in our own powerful way. Right. Historians have a role, no? But we can synthesize things, no?
Right.
In this time of division, sabi ko, don't lie just to look nice.
Right.
The truth will set you free. It may make people mad at first, but it will set them free. No? So just speak your truth. I always say that.
Ali, merong question dito sa ating chat. Maganda rin ito.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. Sorry, nasaan po siya?
Sa chat ng ano tawag dito? Zoom. Pinadala ni Sandra from the
Wala po akong nakikitang message from
sige.
Sandra.
Ay, nako, direct message pala. Only one daw, nako Sandra, ikaw talaga. Only one daw ang ang nakita niyang question, which is any APO Hiking Society song that can be dedicated to International Women's Day. Ayun. Mukhang kaya
Wala.
It's about love, more than about love.
I wrote love songs. And what do you call this? Yeah, wala. I just might want to say one thing.
Yep.
There's a song that I wrote with Joey Reyes, called Kung Sino-Sino Kung Saan-Saan. Okay? It's a song about EDSA, but written in the style of metaphor. Walang binibigay na pangalan, parang American Pie, di ba?
Right.
Di ba, American Pie, there's mythical verses there na parang, sino ba dinidescribe niyan, di ba? Parang si Bob Dylan, ganun, di ba? So I wrote an entire song, Kung Sino-Sino Kung Saan-Saan, which traces Balweg, everybody, ang dami-daming but all written in metaphor and sabi ko nga kay mysterious language. And for EDSA scholars, it's good you can see how many you can identify.
Ay, wow. Exciting, pakinggan natin yan, siguro, so again, if there are other questions, and we have now we have more than 100 active viewers, which will increase in time pagka ni-replay nila. And we have about 145 shares and 467 comments and 567 reactions just now. So thank you so much for watching. Hindi ko na mababati lahat. Thank you. Yung mga usual natin, kilala nyo na kayo, kung sino kayo, from Icon School of si Joseph Ermitanyo, lagi kang nakikinig. Ang dami-dami, sobrang daming nagpapabati, pero salamat po sa panonood ninyo. Siguro ang aking tanong na lang is the question that we post in our in our title, ano ba ang papel ng isang artist, ng isang musician, sa pagbubuo ng ating bansa? Diba? Kumbaga, ano ang role ng artist and musician in nation building? Siguro, mauna tayo sa ating guest co-host, who is also an actress herself, a singer. I actually heard her YouTube song. Alida Moberg. So you have to listen to her YouTube song, na, di ba, 18th birthday mo yata recently ba?
Yeah, last August, I wrote a song for my parents. And like what Sir Jim said, di siya uso. It just came from my heart. Yeah.
Wow,
I just did it. Ayun nga. So, ayun, ano yung tungkulin ng mga artista ng bayan at ng mga musikero in nation building? Well, I will contextualize my answer sa pandemic context. So, during this pandemic, there are those who question the relevance of art because scientific advancements and measures are needed to finally end this so that we can return to a more normal way of life. However, and as proven by our discussion tonight, art never stops being relevant because art allows people to express themselves in a way that connects to the soul of another. And it is not that I am discounting the importance of research and credible facts, especially ngayon, di ba? Hot topic yung mga fake news na yan. But I'd just like to point out that art can do what a stale recounting of research can't. Especially for lay people who aren't familiar with academic jargon. Kasi diba, if you write something that is very highfalutin, blah, 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 paano yan maiintindihan ng isang bata, halimbawa, or ng isang janitor? Exactly. So, say, we want to share our experiences about the trials and tribulations brought by the pandemic. Yes, it is true that research can enlighten, and this is just building up on what Sir Jim shared kanina. But I think that writing a song, for example, can create a stronger and more lasting impact that drives people to act. Or, you know, say, seeing a sculpture, diba? As opposed to reading a wall of text, you get an emotion from art, diba? And we can also see that art has the power to bring people together. And using art to express our collective struggles makes us realize that we can help lift each other up and show others that they aren't alone in their struggle, di ba? Sa ganitong paraan, binubuklod tayo ng sining at pinapatibay as a cohesive whole Filipino nation, di ba? Napaka-powerful talaga ng sining, kaya sa mga naysayers dyan, bahala kayo. We will keep on creating.
Very well said.
Wow! Alida Moberg, 3-time co-host of Kasaysayan, Kaysaya. No? Thank you so much. Grabe. And it's really a right choice for you kasi ibinabagay ko rin sa guest yung co-host. So I know that you're going to really do well. But thank you for your heart. Thank you for your heart. Diba? So Sir Jim, what's the role? And baka may message ka rin kay Ali, but what is the, and to our young viewers here, but what is the role of artists and musicians in nation building?
Ang art can crunch whole experience into something so unified that it makes an impression on you, and you don't have to say anything anymore. And if it's a song, it can be relived and relived and relived. No?
Right.
That's the important thing about it. It becomes songs are diaries written by the heart.
Right.
In other words, I remember when I was 13. Wow, this song was really wow. When I hear this song, it brings back my childhood. Oh, yeah. I still remember looking at my new shoes during the time, and I remember my mother. She was young, and ganon ang nangyari dun. So it sort of crunches everything into something consumable na mabubusog ka. Like for example, for me, like my reaction to the pandemic was to write a song na mababaw. The song was called Quarantine Baby. You can look it up. It's in YouTube.
Yeah.
Quarantine Baby, and it's really just about, parang di ba? Ang araw naging linggo, naging buwan, no? Kailan ba tayo magkikita, di ba? Pagod na ako sa kakahintayin, ganon. It was really just plain sadness, no? For this campaign, I wrote a song called Tagumpay, which I felt was what every person who had to undergo a conscience thing to be able to do the right thing. It was a triumph of the spirit. Again, it's a song that I'm very proud of, and if you go to my channel on YouTube, look for Tagumpay, kinanta niya, Between Escalante. Oh my gosh, what a version. And I worked with Lolito Go, lyricist. And it's just one of the things I'm super proud of, really. One of the songs. But for me, that's what art does, especially music. You carry it in your soul. You carry it in your heart. You want to bring back good memories, refer to a song. You don't have to look at, what date was it? No. You don't measure it na. It was 9 o'clock, on December 26, 1952. No, you don't measure it like that. Sabihin mo, it was a time when I was so sad, I did not think I could handle the world. You measure it in those terms, in emotional terms. No? And that's the food of the soul. That's what a song does. And that's what art does.
Wow.
Ewan ko kung naintindihan niyo ako.
Yeah, no, but that's... kasi To end, thank you, Sir Jim, for your time. Maraming salamat. I know it's 12 midnight in Sydney, but thank you so much for joining us today, tonight. No? Pero alam nyo, ang nakikita ko lang dito, as I always say in my lectures, kanina, actually, this is my OPM day. Kasi kanina I was in a tour with Jose Marichan. I toured him and his friends in the Saluta Clean Flag campaign around Luneta, Rizal Park, Luneta. And basically, my message is, like Jose Rizal, Emilio Jacinto, Juan Luna, these people are artists. Julio Nakpil, one of our first formal composers.
Right.
Diba? These are our heroes. And yan ang makikita natin dito. Laging minamaliit ang artist. Laging minimenos ang nagkukurso ng music, ng fine arts, ng social sciences, di ba? Na yung mga manunulat. Pero ang mga the words of the heroes who were artists in their poetry, in their essays, built the nation, and just like the old Babaylan who consolidated the bayan through their chants, through the singing, diba, yun din ginagawa ng mga artists. Pinagbubuklod nila tayo, our aspirations, our dreams, our hopes, our fears, no, in the things that they write. Diba? Yan naman ang role. And that's why, during the time of martial law, Jose W. Diokno went out to BBC and said, di ba, whatever our own governments do, whatever our own elites and our rulers do, we will prevail, we will survive. And we will sing our own song. Di ba? Yan ang sabi ni Jose W. Diokno. And so, I will end with an APO song. This is not so familiar to a lot of people, but this is one of my favorites. Bakit may rebelde? Bakit may sundalo? Ba't nagpapatayan kapwa Pilipino? Iilan pa bang batang dapat maulila bago manahimik dito sa ating bansa? Di nyo bang makita kung saan patungo? Kung hindi magkasundo ang mga panig ninyo? Aming nalalaman na talagang mahirap, ngunit kapayapaan ang aming pangarap. Itabi na muna ang galit at armas at subukang pag-usapan ang problema, at sa bawat araw na lilipas na walang labanan ay maaaring makahanap ng mapayapang lunas at sasaya ang Pilipinas.
No, I wrote that for the peace talks.
Yes. Kaya nga po. Because I ended with that kasi yun po, iba-iba man ang ating politika, mga kaibigan, sana po sa kasaysayan, huwag nating ibabaluktutin dahil pwedeng iba-iba man ang panig natin, basta tinitignan natin ang katotohanan, wala tayong problema dyan. At lagi tayong magkakaroon ng magandang usapan. Kaya dito sa show natin, lagi nating sinasabi, ako nga pala si Xiao Chua, nagpapaalala, kasaysayan, kaysaya. Diba? Maraming salamat at magkita-kita tayo muli sa susunod.
Ikaw and Ali, I thank you. I really enjoyed this interview. Really.
Thank you so much.
Likewise, Sir Jim, it has been such a tremendous honor. I've learned a lot and I shall carry it with me as I move forward. Naganahan akong mag-aral at mag-create because of this interaction tonight. Thank you so much. Grabe.
Thank you.
We will have a picture taken later.
Sure.
Pero tapusin natin. We'll offer another song to our viewers to end the show. Muli, ako po si Xiao Chua. Kasaysayan, Kaysaya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
This is brought to you by Ed Valenzuela. This is for reference only.
I will never let it happen again. I will never let them take you again. We will stand and guard you with the life that we own. Freedom, you're the soul and spirit of our song.
Arm in arm together, people moving as one.
Something new in history has just begun. Will we let this newfound freedom come to an end? A people bound together, vowed never again. We sing out and we say that we have found a new and better way. So truth and justice and freedom are regained. A peaceful change must come from deep within, so strangers can be brothers once again. Justice, truth, and freedom, wake up.
This is for reference only.
Take a look around you, everyone's lending a hand. Every son and daughter has taken a stand. Holy men and soldiers in a welcome embrace.
Love can make a stranger a familiar face.
Every man of freedom has his own song to sing.
Every little victory has its own bell to ring.
All together sounding like a voice from above to banish every tyrant with its carol. We sing out and we say that we have found a new and better way.
This is brought to you by Headlines More.
Justice and freedom are regained. A peaceful change must come from deep within, so strangers can be brothers once again. Ando ng Pilipino sa mundo, mapayapang paraan pagbabago. Katamanan, kalayaan, katarungan ay kayang makamit na walang dahas. Basta't magkaisa tayong lahat. We sing out and we say that we have found a new and better way. So truth and justice and freedom are regained. A peaceful change must come from deep within, so strangers can be brothers once again. To all the world, we sing out and we say that we have found a new and better way. So truth and justice and freedom are regained.
This is for reference only.